Yeah, what's up, y'all? It's me, Dylan Lang, here with Dylan Knows. I'm going to talk like this for the rest of the show. I hope you don't mind. Don't know why I'm doing it, but I am. Actually, I'm not going to. It was just a weird way to get people's attention, I suppose. But hey, welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. It is on a Sunday, 1:12 p.m. on April 24th. So we're skyrocketing into May. Next Sunday is actually May 1st. So April is getting ready to come to a close here, and we're entering the warmer months here in the Mid-Atlantic. Today feels like a late June-ish, early July day, maybe 84 degrees here right now. And hey, it is just been an interesting week. We finally got the Thor trailer. We'll talk about that. Moon Knight episode 4 was another game changer. It is Nicolas Cage Day here on Dylan Knows with not one, not two, but 3 stories about Nicolas Cage. Dragon Waffles, Fruity Pebbles. Somebody say Fruity Pebbles? Netflix. It's up and down. Doctor Strange issues coming up there. He's coming out in 2 weeks, so we're getting closer and closer to that. Plant Strollers. Okay, we'll cover that in a little bit. Fires. A lot of stuff is entering production now, so it means the film and TV industries are starting to take off a little bit more now, so that's good for them. It's Orthodox Easter, so that's why I'm still wearing my Easter stuff. I figure I can get one more week out of this, and then I have to put these shirts away till next year. So I figure I may as well do that. What else we got going on? It was a weird weekend. There's manga stuff, space stuff, some death, PB&J cookies, some new trailers, Justice League comics, Shaman King, manga, Dungeons and Dragons, more dates shifting for movies. So we've got a lot to cover today. Is that a little too bright on me? No, it's not too. Actually, not too bad. Actually, a little bit of natural light in the background there. I can't really see it there. There you go. Some natural light from there in the background. So let's cover this weekend real quick. This weekend was supposed to be a kid-free one. My daughter was going to a leadership camp, and my son was going to Camporee, which is a big thing with the Scouts. And my wife was actually going to not have to do anything this weekend because she didn't have enough people who in her troop to go to Camporee. So she was just going to have a nice free weekend while the kids went camping. So we had, stuff. We had stuff planned. We were going to have, Cadoba on Saturday, and we were going to do Pokemon Community Day, which I'll talk about a little bit further in the episode. And then move on from there. Well, let's see. When did it start? It started, well, first things first, though. On Friday, which is when everything started, my wife actually had to take the kids up to the camp just because my daughter had to be up there sooner than my son did because of the leadership conference thing. And so she just took them both up there, and then she helped assist with some of the camping stuff. So she drove up to the Broad Creek, which is their scout campsite they always go to. It was an hour and 15 minutes back and up and back. So it was 2 hours and 2.5 hours driving. So she did that and came back on Friday night. Everything was good. And then she got a text on Friday night that said that from our daughter that said that my daughter had forgotten her neckerchief and she needed it for her leadership conference the next day. So my wife had to find it and couldn't find it, but ended up giving her neckerchief. So she had to drive up early in the morning on Saturday. Like she left about 5:30 in the morning to get up there in time before they all woke up and did all that stuff. And then drove back and then fell asleep for a little while. And then just before we were getting ready to start our community day at 2:00, she gets a message from one of the counselors that my daughter had thrown up multiple times, and they were going to keep it. And it was just, they have to report it, but it was made their decision that she wanted to stay. She thought just maybe something she ate, and she didn't want to miss out on any of the leadership stuff. And my wife was fine with that. And the guy said, if she does throw up again, you will have to pick her up. She's like, okay, it's fine. But my daughter got up, and she all of a sudden felt queasy again. Didn't throw up, but she felt queasy. So it was decided just then there, it's time to bring her home. So then my wife had to drive up again and get my daughter and bring her back. So my poor daughter had stomach virus. She was really, really upset. I think she's still upset about it because she's missing out on the leadership stuff, even though she does it's a 2-weekend thing, and she'll still be able to do the stuff at the next weekend. And she still has friends and stuff like that who are doing the stuff that'll get her caught up in no time. So that's still good, but it still upset her because she wanted to do it. She's been fine ever since. And then luckily, my son was brought back this morning along with the stuff, and my wife didn't have to drive there. She had to drive and pick him up at the church, which is like 10 minutes from here, and bring him back. So, and now she's off doing a swimming thing for Scouts. So busy day for my wife. Friday was just kind of a weird day for me on the road wise. Driving into work at about 6:45 in the morning on 795. It's like 3 lanes, and then there's a shoulder, and there's like metal gates or whatever you want to call it. Whatever. Anyway, there was we were really, really slow. His backup was really, really bad, and so I was like, oh, wonderful. And got up to a spot where this is the like the walls of the car of the road. The car was like this. There was a car like this with its tail in the air and the front of the car on the ground like this, and you could see the underside of the car. So it was leaning against the fencing thing, and I don't know how that even happened without the car getting wrecked, without the fencing getting broken. So that was just kind of weird. And there was a fire truck and ambulance that was coming behind us. So the traffic was already busy. We had to move out of the way for them. And then got onto 695, and 695 was a complete ghost town, which never happens. There was nobody on the road on a Friday during rush hour. It was weird. And you can see there was traffic a little bit further up the road, but there was nothing getting on to 695, which was odd. So driving along, and we see a couple fire trucks and ambulances go on the other side of 695. And then we see one of the street signs says there was a bad accident back there, which meant that there was a blockage road. So cars were barely getting through. That's why it was a ghost town. There was also a truck that had hay bales about 30 feet high driving on the highway. And I'm just always afraid that one of those is just going to tip over. I guess they were in there pretty strongly, but people were just not wanting to drive behind them. And then, got to work, and about 8:30, I usually do my coffee break. And I went, and the coffee brewer was turned off at 8:30 in the morning, and no coffee was in the carafe. So I was like, ugh. So I turned on the burner and then cleaned out the coffee cup we had, and then I was getting ready to make coffee. When I pulled out the filter thing, there was fresh ground coffee in there. It was almost as if someone was going to make coffee, but they said, hell with it, I don't feel like making coffee, and turned it off. So I had to do that. So just another weird thing. And then I was told I had to do something that I hadn't done in 3 years. Did it, and we started our schools, which is a big deal for our company, and we shipped out 4 districts. So we had 192 boxes on Friday, so I was tired. My wife, my poor wife, had to go back and forth, up and down. So that was our bizarre little weekend. Next weekend is my mother's birthday, so we're going to probably go see her on Saturday. And then the weekend after that is Doctor Strange comes out. It's Free Comic Book Day. It's Mother's Day. It's there's a Flower Fest that hasn't been going on for a couple years because of COVID. It's starting up again up here at Reisterstown in a couple weeks, so that'll be good. And then the weekend after that is my brother-in-law's party for getting his master's in education, my daughter's second part of her leadership training stuff. The weekend after that, they're going camping up to Susquehanna State Park, where I've gone before for camping. So that's really cool. And then the weekend after that is Memorial Day weekend. So we have a 3-day weekend then. And then June starts, and that's my dad's birthday, my mother-in-law's birthday. The weekend after that, I think schools are going to start shutting down. Weekend after that is Father's Day and leading to my birthday week. The weekend after that, my wife are going to be gone for a full week for camp. And the weekend after that is July 4th weekend. So we're rocketing right along here. And then the weekend after that, Thor, Love and Thunder, which the trailer came out, we'll talk about that in a little bit, is going to come out. The weekend after that, the kids are going to Assateague Island for camping. And then the weekend after that, I don't know what's going to happen. It's my brother-in-law's birthday, I think. So we've got a pretty planned out next few months. So things are going to be going pretty quickly here, and exciting things going on. So that's what's happening here. But you're not here to listen to that. I've already droned on for 10 minutes about stuff. So let us get moving. I already mentioned it. The big story this week was the Thor Love and Thunder trailer came out. Thor is the only Marvel hero of the MCU to have a fourth movie. Iron Man only had 3. Captain America only had 3. Spider-Man only had 3. So Thor is the first one to have 4. Guardians of the Galaxy will have 3 when theirs comes out next year. So the Avengers, technically you could say the Avengers had 4, but the solo MCU heroes, Thor is the first one to have a 4th movie. And it was getting a lot of speculation because the movie comes out July 8th, and here we are April 24th, and not one single, or I should say it came out April 19th, but not one single shred of news or info about the movie had come out. Usually by then a trailer had come out, and the MCU fans can go and they can examine it under the microscope like they always do and stuff like that. It's just getting a general idea of the story's going to be about. So it now holds the record for the shortest amount of time between a movie's release and the first trailer, which is April 19th to July 8th. So April, May, June, it's 2 months and a few days here. But we finally released it. It looks like Thor is going to be going on a exploration of who he is. He's going through a midlife crisis, I guess, after everything that's happened. He's back to his trim, strong Chris Hemsworth self. There's bits with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so we know they're going to be involved with it. We get some shots of Korg. We get some shots of Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie in a business suit. We get some shots of New Asgard. We get a shot of Thor on a pirate ship kissing a blue-haired woman who we don't know who that is. We get a shot of the chariot with the goats flying on it. We get a shot taken directly from the comics of a giant monster skeleton with Thor and Korg, I guess, looking at it on. We get our first view of the Greek god pantheon. Supposedly Russell Crowe will be playing Zeus, and we see a shot from the back of him holding a lightning bolt. So we'll see what happens. People are speculating already that Hercules, who is a mainstay in the Marvel Comics world, may make his first appearance in this movie as well, though it has not been mentioned, and he does not appear in the trailer. And we get our first shot of Jane Foster's Lady Thor. She's looking badass, looking good. One thing we did not get a look at is Christian Bale's villain, God Killer. So they're still keeping some things under wraps. But we did get some good stuff, enough to get people to start talking about it. So Thor Love and Thunder is a go. It is coming. And we finally got our first look at what is going to be going on with the film. And we'll see what happens. So looks good so far. Shifting to that, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, is probably going to make a ton of money, obviously, in the United States and maybe some other countries. But there are a multitude of countries right now, a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, and I think China or Korea, one of those two, one of the Asian countries is refusing to show the film because of the character of America Chavez, who is introduced in this movie, who happens to be, I believe, I don't think she's bisexual. I think she's a lesbian, and it's a lesbian superhero. And the Middle East, it's against their religion, I suppose, about, same-sex love or whatever. And I guess I'm not sure about China. I have to verify that. But there are a number of countries that will not be showing the Doctor Strange movie. And it's kind of upsetting to the people in those countries when you have, the governments that are, declaring that you cannot see these films, which is a shame. But hopefully, pirated copies will make their way over there. I'm not one for piracy, but in this case, it might be the best option for them so they can actually see it. Kind of a sucks. So it probably won't make as much money because it's not going to get a lot of the money from these other foreign countries, but I don't think it's going to have that big of an impact on it because I think it's still going to make a ton of money in America here. I still haven't bought my tickets yet, which I really need to do. I'm gonna go that Friday it comes out by myself. I'm gonna go with my family on that Saturday the 7th. So I have to get on the ball and start doing that. Hopefully they're not sold out yet. So we will see about that. But yeah, so that's kind of disappointing, and hopefully that won't be something that happens very often. And hopefully eventually these people who want to see these films will be able to see the film anyway. And kudos, I'll give kudos to Marvel and Disney for not kowtowing them and eliminating the character from the movie just to have it air in those areas, because that's just not the way they do things. So good on that. The other big story this week is Netflix reports its first loss since it started. They've lost 200,000 accounts, which is a lot. A lot of the reasons for it are price increases keep going up, and people are upset with Netflix just canceling things left and right to save money, fan favorites, stuff like that. Can't please everybody, I guess. And also the new talk about how they're going to start, fixing the password sharing thing, which I think is kind of stupid. But that's just besides the point. They're not going to allow password sharing anymore. So a lot of this is convincing people to drop their Netflix accounts, which in turn is dropping the stock on it, which in turn is causing Netflix to eliminate stuff that they would be doing because they're not getting this money coming in. So they still have a lot of stuff in the hopper, but there are a lot of stuff going on that is also going to cause some headaches and issues. Now, personally, I think when the new season of Stranger Things comes out in about a month, end of May, you're going to get these 200,000 people back in some form or another. This is I'm almost betting this is a momentary hiccup. I don't think that they're going to stand by their arg sort of opinions. Could be wrong about that, but who knows? But one of the first things we've already seen about that is we discovered that one of the other reasons why that they want to keep these 200,000 people around is because Stranger Things season 4 apparently every episode cost $30 million to make, which is basically you can make a small film. You can make, I think there's 8 or 9 episodes, 8 or 9 small films with this. So they're spending upwards of $270 million just on this season. So I'm assuming they're going to try to figure out a way to get those people back. And I'm almost 100% certain they will come back just for Stranger Things because they want to see that. Though it has been so long, who knows? They might not. They might just say to hell with it. We're not going to do this. Another thing that's kind of sucks is they are canceling. Netflix is canceling their Bone adaptation, animated adaptation, which would have been absolutely excellent. Bone is a fantastic graphic novel, animated story by Jeff Smith that was outstanding. And when they said they were going to do an animated version of it, I thought that'd be really, really cool. But Netflix has canceled that, I guess, because of the lack of money coming in there. Netflix has also canceled Bright 2, which was going to star Will Smith. Bright, the original film, was one of the first original films that Netflix did when they got into the original film business. And it was basically Men in Black kind of, but it was about police officers who take on aliens and supernatural beings like fairies and unicorns, stuff like that. And they did really well. A sequel was greenlit, and now, due to the whole Will Smith slapping snafu, which I think is way been blown out of proportion, I think doesn't need to have this stuff keep happening. It will no longer go into development because of that. So, so that's another blow that they're doing to that. So they're moving on to that. Another blow to Netflix was they were in the running along with Amazon and Paramount and Hulu and all these places to get the live action Voltron series that has been the hottest ticket in town. Well, now it looks like Amazon has got the path now. They're the favorite now to land the Voltron live action series. That was an earlier this week news story. So Netflix again loses out on stuff. So this could be an issue, or it could just be a momentary hiccup, and they will take care of it and recover on the other side. They've got a lot of stuff in the hopper right now that's still going to do really well for them, I think. And I still think it's going to draw a bunch of people back to the streaming service. So we'll see what happens. What else we got here going on? Astrophysicists believe that alien tech crashed in the Pacific Ocean in 2014. I don't know their reasoning for it, but they believe that something did crash in the Pacific Ocean that was not of our universe, and they believe it might have been alien tech. Again, I don't think there's any proof of it, but here we are. So kind of interesting. Mars has two different speeds of sound, apparently. A test done by the Perseverance rover on Mars has determined that due to climate and the atmosphere, that the sound travels differently in two different ways across Mars. And they've done some testing to prove it and stuff like that. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about and to hear about. So that's really kind of interesting as well. Another big story about this stuff, outer space, is and cue all the jokes, because a lot of people call the planet Uranus being your ass, stuff like that. So NASA was declaring this week that they want to send, it's a priority that they need to send a new probe to Uranus. But everybody reads it as they need to send a new probe to Uranus and examine all the stuff that's going on there. So they've made that a priority. So that was a big story. But the joke was all the joke headlines and stuff. They believe that there might be life either in the atmosphere of Uranus or on the moon surrounding it. We'll see. They believe that they've discovered another frozen ocean on one of the moons. So they are really interested in getting a further probe to do sort of like what Galileo did with Jupiter and the Huygens one with Saturn, to get them to send a probe out there and just spend years just orbiting Uranus and examining the moons. They figure that Uranus is probably the best place to send one, and probably more feasible since Neptune and Pluto are further out, though both of them have very interesting aspects as well that I believe should also be investigated too. But there's only so much money in the day, and Uranus is closer than both Neptune and Pluto. So it would be easier and quicker to get a probe out there than it would be to get it further out to Neptune and Pluto. Because it took 9 years to get the first probes out to Pluto. So you figure what Voyager 2 hit Uranus in 86, I guess. And then Neptune 89, so it was like a 3-year difference. So I guess whenever it left Saturn's orbit, I couldn't tell you, 85 maybe. It was like another 3-year window. So instead of it being like a 9-year trip or a 6-year trip, it would only be like a 3-year trip, that sort of thing. So we'll take a look at and see at that, but we'll see. They are going to make it a priority. So good on them, because always use more information about space. I love that kind of stuff. Let's see. Some more animals that believed to be extinct have appeared and are not extinct anymore. The ivory-billed woodpecker, which was believed to be extinct, has been located and proven that it is not extinct. Indonesian scientists have discovered the world's biggest bee, which again they thought was, no, they didn't discover it, they knew it existed at one time, but they believe it had been extinct, and they actually found one recently. So the biggest bee in the world right now is back in circulation again. The first time in 4 years, a litter of red wolf pups was found born in the wild. So that's a good sign, because the red wolves are not extinct yet, but they're endangered. And the fact that they've had a litter means that hopefully life will continue to grow for them. So more and more of the supposedly extinct animals are coming back to us. Space station astronauts spotted a strange glow over Europe. They don't quite exactly know what caused it. They're not at this time saying it's aliens or anything usual. They say it's a strange glow that they have never seen before over Europe, and they don't know if it's just due to atmospheric stuff or whatever, but it's still something that they spotted, and they thought it was kind of interesting to mention it. They should mention it anyway. A new chapter of the ancient epic Gilgamesh has been discovered. So it's going to be, I guess they're gonna take a look at it, and they're going to rewrite it up and add it to and release a new version of the epic with this new chapter in it once they figure out what it says. So that'd be pretty cool to see if that's going to happen. AMC Theaters is rolling out laser projectors in thousands of theaters. I'm not exactly sure. I guess it's a way to show films much clearer instead of actually using film or digital. It's a clearer way of using something to beam something onto the big screen to make it visually more stunning, I guess, to draw more people back to movie theaters, I suppose. But I don't know which ones were picked for that. It's only thousands of them. There's lots of them in the theater and in the world. So I don't know if they're only in certain areas or if they are just all across the country right now. There have been this week alone had 3 solar flares, which within 48 hours hit earlier this week. So a number of solar flares in a very active sun period this time. Again, not really affecting the Earth all that much, but still concern, I guess, that the sun's activity is increasing, which I guess is not unexpected, but still a little worrisome. In that same vein, a plasma wave from the sun has hit Mercury. Again, not knowing how that affected the planet, probably not very much. And it's probably something that happens all the time due to its proximity to the sun. So that's what happened with that. And NASA has a probe out there also, has touched the surface of the sun. Again, I don't know how they did that without it being melted to pieces, but they claim that a probe has touched the surface of the sun. So good on that. This is stuff I remember because I was doing my research not that long ago. So I'm just going to look through here, see if I can what the hell? What the hell? Oh, okay, that's what it was. Comic book stars are going to create a comic book for Ukraine. It is a you go to one of those online fundraisers, and if it gets fully funded, you'll be able to receive it. You will not be able to order it through Diamond's catalogs or anywhere else. You have to give money to the fundraiser to make the comic, and then all that money that you're giving to make the comic, the money is going to go to Ukraine, and you'll get a copy of it. It has a lot of big stars in it doing bits from their creator-owned series and stuff like that. Some creators you haven't seen in a while, so that's kind of good to see that coming back as well. The Good Morning trailer, not MORNING, but MOURNING, like morning as in death of morning, was released this week. It is the newest stoner comedy film. Stars Megan Fox, her boyfriend Machine Gun Kelly, everybody's favorite sex toy Pete Davidson. So they've all got a movie there. Megan Fox still looks foxy in it, so yay for that. I've always thought that Tony Hillerman's John Chi, and I forget the other guys, his series of novels about the Navajo Police Department, including Skinwalkers, Dark Wind, stuff like that, would make a good TV series. They've tried doing adaptations of it for movies, and that would have been okay too, because the books are sort of standalone and kind of short. So a TV series, unless you're stretching stuff out a little bit, probably would not be feasible. But AMC has decided to prove that wrong. They have greenlit a series that is going to actually be coming out sooner than later, coming out in June, called Dark Winds, which is going to be featuring the characters of the Tony Hillerman novels. I don't know if they are going to be like adapting a bunch of them all at one time and releasing it into the series, making it like multiple adaptations, but connecting the threads of them to make it one storyline through the entire series. But it's intriguing enough to me because I've just started reading some of his stuff and I'm enjoying it. And I like it a lot. It's got Native American cast, Native American directors and writers, stuff like that. So they're going to be very good at it. And it's very good. I think it's June 12th, it looks like, is when that's coming out. So that might be something that I'm going to take a look at. So you can check that trailer out. It's called Dark Winds, and it looks really, really good, because what was always good about it was it's a police procedural, but it takes place on the Navajo reservation land. And also, a lot of people don't know the stuff that goes on with the police in there. Plus, because of the Native American spirituality and their belief in the supernatural, aspects of the storyline could be construed as supernatural and spiritual. So you get a little bit of that sort of X-Files sort of vibe, particularly the Skinwalkers novel, and Dark Wind has always been really good ones, but it's always been a good mix of the spirituality and supernatural with a police procedural. The first one, I can't remember the name of it right now, his very first novel he ever wrote, uses the myth about I think it's a wolf, a human wolf that can turn human and causes trouble for people. And they're setting it up to be the villain, to be this spiritual like wolf person. And in the end, spoiler alert, turns out to be a former Navajo guy who's moved to California and is living the big life and stuff like that, who's coming back to, find some money that was crashed in a plane crash. He's using the myth of the wolf creature thing to add fear to the people who he's trying to, get information out of. So it's he wasn't technically supernatural, but their belief was that he is, even though he did not show an overt supernatural ability, but their belief was that this person was a wolf creature. So that's the type of sort of thing you're going to get, which I think is kind of cool. A tunnel fire is burning in the Sunset Crater Volcano Natural Monument. Never heard of it, but it's burning the monument in its entirety. So that's kind of a shame that that's happening. So hopefully that'll get taken care of quickly. Liam Neeson is okay with possibly returning to do a Dark Man sequel, a legacy sequel, as he calls it. So he might not necessarily be playing Dark Man. He would be because he's still Dark Man, but he might be able to be like training the next person up or whatever. Dark Man is one of those underrated films that not a lot of people know about. It's a Sam Raimi movie, great Danny Elfman score, and it's technically it is basically a superhero origin story, but the superhero is not one you heard of. And this was back in the early 90s, back when, the Batman Returns and Dick Tracy's and the Rocketeers and all that were hugely popular. So they created their own instead of using, I guess what I think Raimi was trying to get the rights to not Batman, but to something, and he couldn't. Maybe it was Batman. And so he created his own character to do what he wanted to do with the character, but changing it up so that it was more of an original idea instead of doing something like that. Some local news: 2 shuttered downtown hotels in downtown Baltimore have been bought by a company that's going to, I think it's like they said, upcycle them or whatever, where they're going to turn them into apartment complexes. I mean, you've already got and that actually is kind of a brilliant idea because you've already got the framework, you've got the multiple rooms already with, they're small, and obviously what you could probably do to increase the size of them and, get more money for them is to connect 2 or 3 of these hotel rooms together to form one big apartment with multiple bathrooms, and then you could always change the interior around. You would have, because all hotels are the same. You walk in, there's a bed, there's a dresser with a TV on it, there's an air conditioning unit, there's a table, there's a closet, there's a bathroom, and that's really about it. I mean, that's all you really needed to do. I mean, hotels are really just for sleeping and fucking, and not really, staying in. I guess if it's raining, you can watch TV or read or whatever. They have swimming pools on the premises. They've got like a restaurant in the premises. They've got, cleaning. You'd have to go to a specific spot to get washer dryer because they're not in the hotel rooms. They do have cleaning places for them. They've got dry cleaning places. They've got soda machines and ice machines and stuff like that. So you could, you would be able, it's not just gonna be like, okay, we're going to buy this, hotel, and then you can automatically, after clean it up a little bit, whatever, automatically open it up to apartments because they're just little rooms. You're going to want to have them a little bit bigger so you can charge more money for them. So you will have to, take over 3 or 4 hotel rooms and tear out the walls and then reform the rooms so that you don't have multiple doors in and out, multiple bathrooms. You might want to keep 2 bathrooms in there, obviously, but you'd have to redo it so that you're gonna have a kitchen area, and you're gonna have a living room area and a dining room area and a couple of bedrooms and the closets, and maybe make room for some washer dryer stuff. So there's work to be done still on it. So you can't just buy it, clean up a little bit, and say, okay, we're open for business, because that wouldn't work unless you're turning them like into like homeless homes. You want to keep those rooms cheap. It's a place to stay. You have a bed, you have a bathroom and place to put clothes or whatever, but you don't really have any place to eat. So I guess you have to fix it up regardless. So we'll see what happens, but it's really neat that they are doing that. The Mandalorian is getting a manga made about it, so you'll be able to get your Baby Yoda manga fix. So that'll be interesting when they start releasing that. I think they're going to release it like they do with their regular manga overseas. They put it like in a magazine format, and then they collect them into like trade paperbacks and release them. And that's when we'll get them. And they'll obviously adapt them to the United States, stuff like that. Speaking of that, Japan is set to receive Gundam Manholes. Gundam is one of their favorite manga / animes of all time. Giant robots. They built a actual working Gundam that is still in the process of being worked on, but they're actually physically creating these things. But because of the popularity of it, they decided, much like with the Pokemon, you see all kinds of Pokemon stuff all over the place, like mailboxes and light fixtures and stuff like that. So they really enjoy their manga and stuff like that. So now that includes something as small as a manhole cover is now going to be a Gundam style. God, not Gangnam style, Gundam style manhole. So that's kind of a unique sort of thing to see. As I mentioned earlier in the show, May 1st is next Sunday. And then, basically like 3-4 weeks after that, Memorial Day weekend, it's just basically the kickoff to summer. And then summer's going to hit hard very soon. So in order to get your summer up and running, Amazon is offering light up buffet coolers. For some reason, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again anyway because it showed up on my feed this week. It's basically a giant cooler that you can take to your summer parties, get-togethers, whatever. Fill it with bags of ice, and you can put your sodas and your beer and your alcohol and fruit and food that you want to keep on ice into a giant sort of tub that lights up to add that little aspect to the party to make it a jumping party with lighting and cool stuff like that. So pretty cool about that. What do we got here? Dragon green apple waffles are now going to be a thing. They are waffles that are green color that have little specks and stuff on them, but they're going to be a green apple flavor. But they are one of many of the fantasy. They have unicorn waffles out there now and some other stuff now. So they figure, why not continue with the fantastical beast food? So we'll keep up with that. One of the most bizarre things I saw this week on my feed is a plant stroller. It is like a baby stroller, but for your plants. So basically you can take one of your potted plants and put it in the stroller thing and then take it for a walk. This is a real thing. It's not The Onion. It's not parody account. It's a plant stroller. Do plants need to be walked? I don't think so. I mean, I guess if you're not getting the proper sunlight for it, you put it in a stroller and take it out and try to get it more full sunlight, but still walking down the street with a plant in a stroller. I even have trouble with seeing cats and dogs in strollers, but I can understand it. I don't understand this. I just don't. Joe Martin, who played the fugitive female doctor in the new Doctor Who season, and Sahaja Dahamis, who played an excellent master during this same Doctor Who season, will be getting a spin-off show of their own. So fans love them, and so now you're going to get your own show with these characters in it. So that's pretty cool for that. Salem's Lot, the remake of the Stephen King movie that was made into I don't think it was ever physically made into a theatrical movie. It was, what was his name? Guy who did Poltergeist. Can't think right now, but he directed the Salem's Lot 4-hour TV sort of movie. And there have been, I guess, has there been, I don't think there might have been like another, like a TNT adaptation done, directed by a different person to do it. But this is one that's actually going to be physically in movie theaters. And it has a date for this year set. It will be released in movie theaters. Originally, it was thought it was going to be made and released on HBO Max, but because movie theaters seem to be opening up a little bit more, people are willing to go to the movies a little bit more. And because Scream did so well with the horror, Toby Hooper is the guy, who directed the original Salem's Lot. So because of the popularity of Scream, they figured that a horror film based on a Stephen King novel released in September, much when It and It 2 were released when they were released in theaters a couple years ago, would work. So Salem's Lot will be out in movie theaters on September 9th of this year. Again, due to It and It Part 2 coming out on that date and doing gangbusters. I think Pet Sematary might have come out around that same time also and did pretty good as well. They figured it's a pretty good bet that, you might not get like a Marvel numbers, but you're going to get a good showing probably, and it'll be a good way to do it. And it is a movie, so you'll be able to do more than they were able to do in these TV miniseries that they've done. So good on that. Speaking of horror, it was announced a while ago that we already know that the Guardians of the Galaxy are doing a Christmas special. James Gunn's directing it. He's almost done finishing directing it. It will be released this Christmas on Disney Plus, and it's going to set up the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is coming out next year. But because of the popularity of that, Disney started thinking, this might actually work out for our Disney Plus streaming service. Our Marvel TV shows are doing pretty good. People are excited about this Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which is going to be a one-off. We should do something for Halloween. And they figured, why don't we pick Werewolf by Night, who is a character that appeared in Moon Knight, but hasn't appeared in this iteration of Moon Knight yet. If you want, we make a Werewolf by Night Halloween special. And, we will, actually, I didn't see that in my note. Elsa Bloodstone, who is a character that has been cast. I don't know who the actress was. I came across my page, but I guess I didn't share it. So, so that sort of brought it to a head. And then all of a sudden people are thinking, okay, maybe next Halloween it'll come out. The Christmas special this year, we'll see how well it does. And then the Halloween one, they'll do a Halloween one next year. So that'll be good. Actually, they believe that the Halloween special is actually done production. Now you got to think about this a second. It's a Halloween special, so it's not a multiple chapter story. It's a show that will probably be about 45 minutes to an hour long, maybe. So you figure you film, it's like one episode of a TV series, basically. So you film it for a week, and then you do the special effects. Voila. It should be ready to go, So it's looking more and more likely that this Halloween is going to be amazing on Disney Plus, because fans of Hocus Pocus are in for a treat when Hocus Pocus 2 comes out on Disney Plus this Halloween. And now the possibility is Werewolf by Night, the Halloween special, could very well also be out this Halloween. It makes perfect sense if it does come out. So good on that. Speaking of that, Moon Knight season episode 4 came out this week. I have a mixed bag about it because the first half of it was filmed entirely in a Egyptian tomb, and Moon Knight, Stephen Grant now in control of the body, and not Elsa, no. I forget the name of the female lead now. My mind just isn't working. The two of them are looking for the goddess that Ethan Hawke's character is trying to awaken, her gravesite, or the location of it, or something like that. And a sort of mummy sort of beast starts stalking them because it's been killing off Ethan Hawke's crew's character, and it's been pulling the intestines and stuff out, but it was hard to see any of this stuff because the film, and it could have been my TV also, but the film version inside this tomb was extraordinarily inky darkness that I could not see exactly what was going on or what was happening. So my enjoyment of it was, I could kind of understand what was happening because you can see bits and pieces of it, but it was just way too dark for me. And then it got to a point where they discovered the lost tomb of Alexander the Great, which I thought was hilarious. And then Stephen Grant had to reach inside the dead body of Alexander the Great, and through his guts and stuff like that, to pull out something specific that they needed. And then Ethan Hawke's character was able to continue with telling the female lead that her father was killed by Mark Spector's mercenary group, and that pissed her off too. And they had, eventually Mark reclaimed the body, and her and him and the female lead, whose name still escapes me right now. They had a smackdown a little bit, and we find out that, yes, his mercenary group did kill her father, but he did not kill her. He tried to stop the person from killing him, but he ended up getting shot himself, which is leading to Honshu picking him to be his avatar. And then she was held, I guess, at gunpoint, and Ethan Hawke wanted the relic that Mark had, and he refused to give it to him, so he shot Mark numerous times in the chest. He fell into a pool and disappeared in light, and then woke up in an insane asylum where all the characters that we had seen in the show were members of this asylum. Ethan Hawke was his psychiatrist, and there was a TV movie about Stephen Grant, a Tomb Raider sort of character. So it made you kind of think that it was all a dream of a madman. But then other wild things happened, and Stephen comes out, and the two of them are in the same, Stephen and Mark are together in this asylum, and they escape and run into a hippo goddess, and that's where the episode ended. So it kind of threw this sort of different status quo at you in the fourth episode. Now, the fourth episodes of these Marvel hour-long shows always seem to have something huge happen in them. WandaVision showed what was going on outside of the town where Wanda was. Falcon Winter Soldier had the Captain America wannabe kill somebody live on camera. The Loki one had Loki getting zapped and sent to the afterworld sort of place. What If was the Doctor Strange evil episode. I don't remember what the Hawkeye season 4 one was. I think that was the one where it ended with them breaking into her house and Kate's house, and find out that her mother was dirty and that her stepfather was there. I don't remember if anything else big happened at that point. So, and then, so we'll see what happens. It's definitely got my attention, and makes me want to see what's going on with this. Here's 2 of the 3 Nicolas Cage stuff for this week. Nicolas Cage turned down roles in Lord of the Rings and The Matrix, apparently. And I'm thinking about is like, I couldn't tell you which ones he turned down. I doubt he was offered Neo, because that just didn't seem to work out. And I doubt he was given Lawrence Fishburne's character either. So maybe it was The Traitor, but that was one of the Wachowskis' usual favorite actors, Joe Pantoliano. So I don't know which character, maybe the agent, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Agents, doesn't make any sense to me. And Lord of the Rings, I couldn't tell you either who he probably would have been. Again, I doubt he was offered Aragorn or any of the, I don't know. It's hard to say. So is it true? Possibly, but he said he turned him down, so he turned him down. Also, Diane Kruger, who played his love interest in the National Treasure movie, she revealed on a talk show this week that Nicolas Cage had contemplated buying a bat cave, but not the type of bat cave you're thinking it was. Apparently, when they were out filming National Treasure 2 out in North Dakota, apparently they stumbled upon a cave that was for sale, and Nicolas Cage was interested in maybe buying it because he wanted to become a spelunker, and he wanted to explore the earth because he'd already explored fire and water stuff, whatever the hell that means. And he thought the earth one would be kind of cool. But in the end, he didn't buy it, and he didn't do any spelunking in it either, but it was a possibility that crossed his mind for a second. And it's weird. How do you sell a cave that is a natural formation that nobody should own? Again, leads me to believe, but that story actually came from Diane Kruger and not from Nicolas Cage. So I don't know. And I just, how do you sell a cave? I don't know. Kit Kat has an assortment coming out this summer, which will be your regular Kit Kats, but it also will include a strawberries and cream version of the Kit Kat bar. And Kit Kat also has their blueberry muffin Kit Kat candy coming out this year as well. So you've got some interesting stuff in the Kit Kat world coming up. A number of new shows and movies have all gone to production this week. First up, the new Star Wars show on Disney Plus, The Acolyte, which not a lot is known about and is going to be kind of a unique sort of Star Wars film because it's not really going to be set during any of the usual Star Wars times. Not going to include any of the former Star Wars characters or characters you've heard of from Clone Wars. So that's all new stuff like that. It has started filming this week. Chucky Season 2 has started production on Sci-Fi as well. Fast and Furious 10 is starting production this week as well. M. Night Shyamalan's new film, Knock at the Cabin, also started production this week as well. So it's a good week for new shows to start production. We'll see if there's any other ones that I see are starting production here. I don't see anything off the top of my head right now, but yeah, just making sure I'm not missing anything. All right. Yep, so that's a lot of that there too. The deaths this week, and then we'll be done this first page. Declan O'Brien, who was the Wrong Turn film series director, he passed away this week. Daryl LaMonica, a former, a NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion for the Oakland Raiders, and I believe he's still on the ballot to go to the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's gotten in yet, but he's still on the ballot, I think. He died at the age of 80. Maybe he's only going to be allowed in through the veteran ones. Jill Nerum, who is a literary agent for both Brad Meltzer and Judd Winnick, passed away this week. Brad Meltzer writing a very loving, not really obituary, but kind of a remembrance of this woman who gave him a chance, and also started Judd Winnick on his career as well in publishing. Chuck Webb, this is local. Chuck Webb, a well-loved bartender at the Secrets Bar in Ocean City, Maryland, which has been around forever. It's a rite of passage for most Maryland people to go to Secrets at least once in their life. I've been there multiple times. It is a bar that's on the other side of Coastal Highway. So it's not oceanfront, but the bar itself floor is entirely made of sand. It does have some hardwood floor things, I think, for dancing, but it's mostly a sandy area. It's got a beach motif, obviously. And they also have in the back that leads to the Assawoman Bay, which is on the other side. They have a floaty cocktail bar sort of thing where you can get into one of those raft things and sort of just float on the bay. You're not going anywhere, but you're attached to the pier, but you're on the water and you can dip your feet in the water if you want and drink your alcohol there that way too. So that was a good thing. So Chuck Webb passed away this week as well. Rio Hackford, actor on the Mandalorian, died at the age of 51 this week as well. And terrible news from Disney. Where is that? A zebra tragically dies at Disney's Animal Kingdom lodge. Well, it was something spooked it, and it was trying to ram its way out of the metal bars that held it, and it ended up killing itself that way. So that was kind of sad as well. The last Nicolas Cage thing, maybe we'll cover it since I'm on this page as well as I am on here for this show. Tried to build an $80 million film studio in Las Vegas, but Elon Musk came in and said, not going to happen, son. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but he did. That's a shame because that would have been pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. Former Michigan running back was cut from his USFL team for wanting to eat pizza instead of chicken salad. That seems excessive to me. Ezra Miller is back in trouble again, which leads me to believe that again. The Snyder version, Snyder himself is a terrible person to cast these psychopaths. So Ezra Miller was arrested in Hawaii for attacking people. And Barry Keoghan, who was most recently made it big in the Batman film playing the Joker, was also in the Eternals and is a Ezra Miller lookalike, has also been arrested for assault as well. So people look like Ezra Miller, you are, garbage. So wonderful. Okay, I did that. Mercury blasted with a plasma wave, did that. Jonathan Myers, who played Kang in Loki and will be playing Kang in the Ant-Man 3 movie coming out next year, is also in Creed 3. And his preparation for it, and I guess filming for it, is he's been hit in the face, punched in the face 100 times, he says. So it's just, I guess, part of it when you're doing a movie about boxing. It makes sense to me. 50 years ago this week, Apollo 16 landed on the moon. Was that the last one? Or was Apollo 17? I think Apollo 16 might have been the last one. I'm not 100% certain, but don't quote on me. I'm sure my friend Gary will let me know for sure after he sees this episode. And Fenway Park, where the Boston Red Sox play, opened 110. The Boston Red Sox Fenway Park opened 110 years ago this week as well. 110 years ago, which makes it 1912. Yeah, it's that old. I've been there before also. So it's definitely a unique experience, one that I would suggest if you can hack it, go ahead and try it. So there you go. Some science news. Scientists blew up their lab after creating the strongest magnet ever. It wasn't done deliberately. It was they created the strongest magnet ever. It caused some feedback or whatever and destroyed their lab. So, oof. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I already did that, but I didn't do this yet. Okay. After a 3-year nap, the Large Hadron Collider is waking up and is going to continue studying the ways of the world. Now, a lot of people believe that the Large Hadron Collider actually, before it shut down, blasted a hole into another dimension, and that dimension has slowly crept into our dimension, creating these last 3 years of god awfulness that has happened. Obviously, after a 3-year nap, 2020, 2021, 2022, 3 years of hell and shit and awfulness is now waking back up. So maybe it blasted the hole into another dimension and created this shit show that is the last 3 years. And then now with it, and then they shut it down because of what happened. And then they're going to open it back up. And hopefully, maybe with it coming back online, maybe all this shit will get sucked back out and we won't have any more shitty years. I highly doubt it, but it's worth a prayer. The electric VW bus is now been introduced. VW bus has always had a spot, I guess, a soft spot in the heart of youngsters and people my generation, stuff like that. I've never really seen the appeal of an old school 1960s sort of VW bus thing, but those who like that kind of stuff, hey, you're getting your VW bus. It's going to be electric this time, the original hippie mobile, as it were. So there you go. Hubble takes pictures, looks at a planet. It was looking at a planet where vaporized rocks may run out as molten rain at night. So basically, it's so close to its star that the rocks melt, and the ejection of this magma rain or whatever comes at night. So it would be raining magma at night on this planet. So that's kind of a interesting sort of thing. Let's see. Meltdown, a documentary about the 3 Mile Island event that happened in the 70s, which I was alive for, is coming to Netflix on May 4th. I know a little bit about it, but I'd like to maybe check this out. It's a documentary about the meltdown of 3 Mile Island, and obviously it wasn't as bad as your Chernobyls and stuff like that, but still it was worthy of caution and fear. And I like to see what happened and make sure how this stopped, because I just remember vague things about it because it was in New York and my parents weren't all that freaked out by it, but they were a little bit because it's not that far away, even though it is. It's up in New York and not down here. So they thought it might have made its way down here or whatever. I don't know. Apple TV, which continues to dominate with a lot of things and gets me to potentially think I should pick this up in HBO Max. But again, too much money, blah, blah, blah. They are releasing a documentary, 5-night documentary called Prehistoric Planet. It's narrated by Sir David Attenborough, has a Hans Zimmer score, and Jon Favreau is producer. And basically what it is, it's a documentary about the prehistoric era on Earth using computer-generated dinosaurs. They are going to take a look at certain locations where fossils have been found and are doing filming it like a nature documentary about how these dinosaurs reacted to each other. So you're actually going to see from what scientists have determined through study of fossils and their own knowledge of dinosaurs. They threw it all into this simulation, as it were, of what our Earth would be like during prehistoric times with dinosaurs. So fans of dinosaurs, so like that, this is going to be your jam. A 5-night documentary. There's also a book out that has a similar, I think I'm going to buy it because it has a similar premise to it. Oops. Let me just delete this real quick. Boom. It is called Other Lands, and it's written by Thomas Halliday. And it's basically, he's writing a book about what life was like on this prehistoric planet in these areas where fossils have been found. So he says these specific fossils were found in this area. So he constructs a situation that created these fossils in the first place. The dinosaurs attacking each other or the reasoning for it and adding, stuff to it that he doesn't know, but is, again, using scientific, know-how. It's like, this is why this happens. So it's sort of a very similar premise, but that's kind of interesting. So that's coming out May 23rd. May 4th, as I said, is the Meltdown thing. The Dungeons and Dragons movie I talked about a couple weeks ago now has a title called Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. So that is the title of the movie. I think that's due out end of the year or next year, something like that. I don't really know for sure. This is kind of more of a personal thing. I went to Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania. It was a small school back then. It has now risen incredibly in tuition and in population, and has become a hub, a hugely popular Pennsylvania college. The donors have been very generous, and they've taken over multiple buildings that have been, empty and forever long time, and have expanded the size of their campus from a smaller college to a larger one. Well, now they are now building a new residence hall. They broke ground this week. So I guess they got to keep up with all the people who are coming in here, or maybe they're going to, I think Albright Court, which is off campus, might be shutting down. So they need to find a place for those people. So we'll see about that. Do you like tacos? Well, you could potentially make $10,000 this summer by eating tacos all through Texas. I don't know. I just look up, 10K tacos in Texas on your search engine. It'll probably give you links to where you can go to sign up for and try to get in there. But yes, that is something that is coming soon. Amazon has an interesting TV show coming on May 20th called Night Sky. It features J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek, two older actors who you don't really assume, you don't really want to have main characters. you want to have it, but you don't usually see main characters that are older, like grandparent age stuff, be the main focus of a show. But it has a very interesting science fiction premise. The premise behind it is that this is a couple that has, been together for a long time. They've raised a family. All their kids are out of the house. They have their own families. Their grandparents and their grandchildren are like, in their 20s and stuff like that. So they're like 70 plus years old. And they discover, or they've had this, they've discovered this years ago, but have kept it secret just between the two of them, that their house has in the basement of their house, there is a portal to another planet. And they enter the portal and they can survive on the planet, and they don't explore it. They just sit there and take a look at the night sky and just be, they don't explore it. They just look at it, and it's all its beauty. It's a gorgeous, sight to behold and stuff like that. And apparently it's been kept secret for so long. And of course, as things are bound to do, one of the days when they are visiting it, something strange occurs, and a stranger comes to town who might be from this planet and causes all kinds of heat to fall upon them. So it looks like kind of an action-y sort of science fiction show, with the lead actors being in their late 60s, early 70s, which is kind of interesting in and of itself as well. So that's on Amazon. So I might check that out May 20th. So I guess maybe when they are camping, maybe I'll check that out then. So that might be a interesting take on things. Come out May 12th is the NFL schedule. The NFL draft is this weekend coming up. It'll start on Thursday, the 29th, go through Friday, the 28th. Thursday, the 28th, Friday, the 29th, and Saturday, the 30th. The first round is going to be on Thursday, the 28th. The second and third rounds will be on Friday, and I think 4 through 6 ends up on Saturday. So the NFL draft, it's draft weekend, is a huge weekend for sports fantasy. The new youngsters coming to their team, see if it's going to make their team better or worse. You're going to have all kinds of people making statements. Again, I'm not a big minor league / drafting guy, because, you're looking at what they did in college and high school, and you're saying, this guy could be an amazing edge rusher, or amazing quarterback, or a great running back, or a wonderful wide receiver, or a wonderful corner, or whatever, just from what they've done in college. And the college game, well, it has similarities. It's still quite not the same as an NFL game. And a lot of these, stud draft picks, where people say, oh, that's a great draft pick for them, have, gone away, are only on team for a year or two, aren't very good because they can't handle the change in the NFL or the length of their season, and they end up folding sooner than later. So opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. I know everybody said that before. So people are going to say that's a terrible draft, or that's a great draft, or whatever. You're not going to know. You're not going to know for like 3 years to see if this is going to be a good draft or a bad draft. And you can't just come out right out and say terrible pick. They should have gone with this person. Well, the pick you made in 3 years might be an all-pro, amazing, athlete who is a stud guy who's going to make a ton of money when he enters free agency, compared to the guy you said was better than him, who might be on his 7th team at this point after 3 years, because he doesn't know how to play right. So you don't know. And same thing with the minor leagues. They say, okay, these guys are going to be great, and you get to see a little bit more of a general idea about them because they spend more time in the minor leagues. You get a general idea of their powers, but they're also going up against lesser opponents. So it's hard to say if a draft is good or bad or whatever, but regardless of the case. But the reason I bring it up is because the schedule is always a big thing, because then it's going to be like, okay, this is going to be, what we're going to be able to watch. And if they're going to play on Thanksgiving, or, if they're going to play, one of the home games, or are they going to have like a huge home stretch, or are they going to have a bad away stretch, or are they going to have, when's their bye and stuff like that. And Thanksgiving is always a big football time. It used to be only 2 games. The Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys would play whoever on those games, and that was it. But then when they were hugely popular, and they make big, because it's something you do at Thanksgiving while the turkey's being made and you're with your family. You turn on the football games and you watch them and you cheer them, even though they might not be your teams. It's still something to do and watch while the turkey's being made. And so it's going to be big ratings. So they decided we're going to start doing it at night game also and have every team be able to play on Thanksgiving instead of just Dallas and Detroit's opponents at that time. Because you might not have been able to have the schedule work out where every team will be able to play on Thanksgiving at least once. Now you can, because you have a third game that doesn't have a regular team on it. Now I'm okay with having Dallas and Detroit be the main guys on Thanksgiving at the 1 and 4 games, but the 8:00 games, having it switched up is a good idea too, and getting more interesting people like that. So they saw how successful that became. So they decided, what we're going to do? Since Christmas falls on Sunday this year, most of the games would have been on Christmas Eve anyway, Saturday. They're going to have 3 games like they do on Thanksgiving on Christmas Day on the Sunday, December 25th. They'll have 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock game like they have on Thanksgiving. So they're hoping that the same thing is going to happen. Whereas, Christmas, technically, if you're at a family's house, you might be opening presents, but you might not be. Some families stop giving presents after a period of time, to their uncles and aunts and cousins, stuff like that. Like I know personally in my family, Christmas Day is I open presents with my family, my kids and my wife. And then we go to usually my uncle's house where it's just family time. We don't have presents for each other. We just hang out. We eat good food, and that's it. That's how we spend Christmas together. So watching football would become something you could do then because it'll be on Sunday and we'll be there for Christmas. And then when I go to my in-laws' house, it's usually on New Year's Day. We again only give presents to the kids. So my aunts and uncle, so their aunts and uncles give them presents, and we give presents to our nieces and nephews. And then the grandparents give presents to the kids, but they also give them to us as well. So the grandparents are the ones that give presents to us. We not give presents. I don't give any presents to my in-laws. They don't give presents to us. So they give presents to our kids, but not to us, which is fine. So you'll be able to sit down and watch 3 football games on Christmas now. It just happened to fall that Christmas is on a Sunday this year, so that's why it worked out. Next year it'll be on a Monday, so would they do that again? Who knows? You'll have a Monday night football game anyway, so they're going to go back to just having 1 game on Christmas since it's going to be on a Monday night and do all the games on Christmas Eve on that Sunday. We'll see what happens. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, this year, there will be 3 games on Christmas Day. There will also be 6 or 7, I think maybe 6. 5 or 6 maybe, games overseas. I think there's 3 in England, there's 1 in Germany, 1 in Mexico. So they've already got, the teams set for those, just the ones who are the home teams, but we don't know who their opponents are. We won't know till this. So the Ravens potentially could play Tampa Bay in Munich, Germany, because we do play Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. It would be considered a home game, and they're the ones that got the Munich game. So we could play them there. I think the Mexico City game, we don't play the Phoenix Cardinals. That would just be a basic crossing the border for them. It's not a big deal. So it's not that far of a travel for them. So we don't play them this year. And the Arizona Cardinals, I should say, that's who they are now. And then the England ones, I think we played Jacksonville and Jacksonville this year. So we might have an England game. But I think the other 2 games, I don't remember. I think the Bills have a game over there, which we're not doing, and I forget who the other team is, which we're not playing either. So there's potential the Ravens could have 1. They would only give them 1, so it would either be the Tampa Bay or the Jacksonville one, depending on their schedule. More than likely, they probably would, at most, maybe give it to Jacksonville because Tampa is Tom Brady, so you're going to want to have a bigger, more popular kind of team over there. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, it's coming up. Honey Vanilla Cheerios is the newest Cheerios flavor coming into existence here. So good on that. My continuing journey on trying all the different Mountain Dew flavors hit another flavor this week. And for the first time, it's one I'm never going to drink ever again. Now, the gingerbread one from last winter isn't bad. but it's one I don't think I could drink. I still have like 4 or 5 left in my 12 pack that I bought back in December that I haven't drank yet. It's one of those that, maybe a holiday sort of drink for it, but it's not one that you're going to want to drink all the time. This one I'm not even drinking. They did not have an individual one, so I did buy the 12 pack. So now I've got a bunch left over. But the Flaming Hot Mountain Dew is awful. It's an orange color like the Cheetos, the Flaming Hot Cheetos. So it's like this really bright orange color. One thing I did notice was it has a citrus flavor to it, but it's also got the heat on it. It's smooth. I'll give it that. When you take your first swig of it, it's like, okay, this isn't so bad. You get it, and then you start getting the heat, and it becomes overwhelming. So you take another swig, and the heat is still there because it hasn't dissipated yet. You take another swig, and the heat is still there, and that's what becomes a drink. So I drank half of it and said, this is shit, and I tossed the rest of it. Luckily, I had dropped the 12-pack when I was taking it out of my car, so I shattered like 3 or 4 of them, had to throw those out, and I drank one, so about half of the case is still left. But it's awful. If you like heat, you'll probably like this. It's hard to quantify describing it without trying it. But it goes down smooth, but it has this heat to it. Now, it would probably be a good mix for alcohol, if you like that sort of kind of thing. But yeah, I am definitely never ever going to try that again. I think I haven't tried it. I haven't had this for a while, but I might go back to the raspberry lemonade one, which I really, really liked. I also got Mountain Dew Red, which I have Code Red, which I haven't had for a while, which is really, really good too. But yeah, Flaming Hot Mountain Dew is as expected, is thumbs down for me. So it's up to you to try it. Whatever you want to do, go for it. But ain't gonna do it. Said summer's coming sooner than later. Another big thing for summer this year is a beach chair that has a face hole in it for your reading and napping pleasure. I guess that's more for, I guess you could use it both ways. I'm looking at it, and you could use it for when you're tanning your back and you put your face, instead of putting it into the chair itself, you can put it through this hole and you'll be able to breathe and all this stuff, and you'll be able to nap or whatever while your back is getting burned. But I guess also maybe you could read while you're getting your back burned also. But I guess when you go and sit in the front, your head sort of snuggles in there pretty easily and is supported so that you can, you're not, on edge or and stuff like this. A lot of the beach chairs are like that, so you're kind of more comfortable. So, well worth it for people who like to go to the beach. Let's see. Shaman King, which is a manga that I got my wife into using their omnibuses. It's an older manga, and it's been out of print for a while. Not out of print, but it hasn't done any new stuff for a while. Well, a Shaman King sequel has been announced, so that'll be rolling out here probably momentarily. We'll be seeing that sooner than later, probably. There's a new Japanese writing cafe, which pressures customers to keep writing and won't allow them to leave until they are done what they set out to do with their writing. So basically, I guess you set, I want to write 1,000 words or whatever. And after about 500, you say, I don't have anything in me, I want to leave. They're going to say, you can't leave. You got to do your 1,000 words. I guess it's good to try to get you to keep writing, but it also kind of is forcing you not to, it's forcing you to do something that maybe you don't want to do, but at the same time, maybe it's also good to help you, encourage you to keep going. So interesting. I announced this last week. There was one state that did this. Maryland is now the second state to ban declawing of pets, particularly cats. So that's good. So declawing of animals is now prohibited and illegal in Maryland. So that's outstanding. I'm good about that. I haven't been reading comics all that much, but the biggest comic book event of the year, which I'm surprised they didn't wait till next week, which is leading up to Free Comic Book Day. But this week is the death of the Justice League in the comics, which they're trying to get lightning in a bottle with the whole death of Superman stuff that happened like this. They're going to kill everybody in Justice League. That includes Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman. All these characters are going to die in the Justice League, and it's going to pave the way for the next generation sort of thing, which they've always wanted to do anyway. But as I haven't really following DC all that much, and I really have no desire to see this, and I'm sure it's going to be, retroactivated back to normal status quo in a little bit. So whatever. But just thought you'd like to know, if you want to go to comic shops this week, I wish they would have waited till next week when it was Free Comic Book Day coming up. But this week coming up, go to comic book shops and get your Death of Justice League and make it into an event if you want to. I'm not going to. Bill Murray has been accused of inappropriate behavior on the set of his new film. I announced his new film last week. Aziz is directing it. Aziz is going to be directing it, and they've stopped filming because of his inappropriate behavior. Don't know if he's going to be replaced or if he's going to be disciplined in any way. I don't know. They haven't really said anything, but that's what's going on with that. Changing dates of movies is now commonplace. It's happening more often than not now. It happened again this week. A movie that everybody was looking forward to this fall, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse sequel to the Spider-Verse movie from a few years ago, animated film, has been delayed and moved to June 2nd, 2023. It was a part 1, and the part 2, which was supposed to come out in 2023, has now been pushed to March 29th, 2024. So not sure what actually happened with that, but the Spider-Verse sequel has been pushed back another year. So you will not see it this year, which is a shame. Also, this is all from Sony. Madam Web, which I talked about last week, Dakota Johnson is cast as Madam Web. That is now set for a July 7th, 2023 release. So that means they're going to start filming that one really soon. And we'll get that come out here soon. Now, I touched on this earlier in the show. We're an hour and 25 minutes in. I guess it was an hour ago, around the 25-minute mark. I touched on this. Yesterday was Pokemon Go Community Day. Now, the last probably year and a half of Pokemon Community Days have been sort of blah, ones we've already had over and over again, or not exciting characters. Well, this one was a brand new Pokemon by the name of Stuffl, who had never been in Pokemon Go ever until this Community Day. It's a red panda, sort of cuddly bear-looking thing that evolves into Beware, which is a bear wearing like a sweatshirt sort of thing. It takes 400 candies to evolve it, so you would have to catch a lot to do that, because usually you get about 3 candies per catch and 1 for transferring it. But they had things dealt with it so you could be able to do it quickly. So now the community days had been, due to COVID, 11 to 5, which I personally think is a brilliant community day, because that's really a day and not the typical 3-hour period that it had been to begin with. But they've reverted back to the 3-hour format, which, as I mentioned before, during the time was something that my wife and I were going to do ourselves. And my wife is a huge Pokemon Go fan, and she had to miss out on it to go get our sick daughter, which is obviously better, because you want to make sure our kids are fine. But I was able to access her account through my phone, and for an hour and a half I did my account. For an hour and a half I did her account, but I was able to do it and get everything we needed to. But it was cute. Stuff was very cute, and we were able to evolve it as much as we could. But it just, the 3-hour time frame was just way too short. And it was nice weather, luckily, but what if it was bad weather? You wouldn't be able to do it. Whereas, maybe it was only be bad weather for a little bit. If you would have had it expanded 11 to 5, or even a 12-hour window, 9 to 9, whatever, 8 to 8, whatever you want to do, that might be better. That war is going to be going on with Niantic for a while now, so we'll see what happens. So, but as I say, it was fun to see a Pokemon that had not been released in the game yet come out and have a community day. And that's kind of what you should probably do with community day, is you shouldn't do ones that you get all the time. You should do ones that are barely, you barely spawn, or are brand new ones, and get them to come out, like a Bagon one or something. They already did one of those, but that's just an example, like something like that. You can do Pokemon that aren't around too much. Would be good to have community days with, or ones that are brand new. So, okay, last page. The 8th ranked female NBA basketball player, or WNBA basketball player, Aaliyah Isles, was shot 10 times at a Vegas party. She survived, thankfully, but still it's kind of scary. The Tom Brady final game football that someone bought for $500,000 before Brady said, "Ha, I'm not retiring," and the guy just spent $500,000 of his money to get that. That football sale has now been voided. All parties are okay with it. They gave the money back. He gave the football back, and everyone's happy with that. So in the end, it all worked out pretty good. Fruity Pebbles crisps. If you like your Fruity Pebbles, you can now get them in potato crisp format, circular. It's the Fruity Pebbles in a circular sort of chip sort of thing. You can pound those down now if you want to. The Rock is going to produce a film based on the video game It Takes Two. Never heard of it, but he's producing it and potentially could star in it, even though it doesn't look like a character that, it's not like a bulky character. It looks like sort of a fun little kind of romantic comedy sort of thing. So we'll see what happens. I did that one already. Boom. Sope Dirison is a black actor who's been now set to play John Constantine. I'm surprised I haven't seen more of the white racist assholes screaming about their white supernatural guy, Constantine, being played by a black guy. But he's been cast in the TV show that's going to come out on HBO Max. So don't know much about him. So cool. We'll see what he does. Gal Gadot is playing the evil queen on the live-action Snow White remake. Charlize Theron played it before, so now we have Gal Gadot playing it as well. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are going to reunite for a film about the Nike executive who signed Michael Jordan to his Air Jordan thing. That sounds honestly kind of boring, to be honest. Not very interesting for a movie, but what do I know? Keebler's Fudge Stripe cookies get a chocolatey fudge-covered strawberry cookie. Tastes like a chocolate-covered strawberry cookie. So good on that. Nestle is releasing PB&J cookies. It's a peanut butter cookie that has jelly flavored chips in it. That could be kind of interesting. So keep an eye out for those. No astronaut has ever eaten astronaut ice cream, according to sources. So why are you calling it astronaut ice cream? I don't know. I talked about that. Reese's, my favorite candy, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, has created the Super Cups. A 6-pack of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are now available now. So good on that. You can get... It's a ghost. You can get shoes that look like M&Ms. Actually, like the peanut M&Ms nowadays. So I guess pretty cool. Kevin Costner, who honestly his best films usually are ones that take place around sports, baseball and golf, the two that come to mind off the top of my head, or westerns, Open Range, Dances with Wolves, Wyatt Earp, stuff like that. He has gotten greenlit a new film that he hasn't directed in a while, but a new film that he wants to write, that he wrote and is going to direct. A Western, an epic Western, has been picked up by Warner Brothers, and New Line, I think, are going to join in on paying for it, called Horizon. It is a massive undertaking from what I read. It's going to be like another one of these 3-hour sort of movies that covers like the history of the Wild West sort of thing. Sounds actually kind of interesting, to be honest. So I'll take a look. We'll have to take a look and see when this gets done. Since the deal just got made, it would assume that he's going to start going to pre-production then. Don't know if he's going to have to stop for doing some Yellowstone stuff. So I would say we'll probably see this maybe for Oscars 2023, end of the year 2023, maybe at the earliest, or maybe probably would make more sense to drop in on 2024. Because if it's the sweeping epic sort of thing, it's probably going to take months to make and then edit. So if he gets started in the summer. Let's just say it's April right now. Let's say he starts pre-production tomorrow or on Monday. It is tomorrow. It's Monday. Starts tomorrow. And then does the casting also. That might take a couple months. So we're looking at, a film starting in June. And it's one of these huge ass 3-hour epics. And who knows what he's going to need to corral, build sets and train horses and weather and all this stuff. It could take upwards of 6 months to make. So we're looking at sometime in December finishing up production. And then you got to edit it and special effects, whatever, music. You could conceivably, I guess, make that in time for a winter 2023 debut. So we'll see, but it has been picked up and it actually sounds kind of interesting. Let's see if I can find a description of it here. Kevin Costner, Horizon. I'll stop with all these jumping. According to Deadline, Horizon is a sweeping film that covers a 15-year period of time, both before and after the Civil War, during which settlers were undertaking the expansion and settlement of the American West. Costner has been interested in bringing the film to the screen for a number of years, and it reportedly emulates the epic scale and sweep of his multiple Oscar-winning classic Dances with Wolves. This is from Sterling Whitaker on the Taste of Country website, and all that information is coming from Deadline, which is one of those things. So it's okay. Here we go. Horizon is set to begin filming in Utah on August 29th. No details yet available as to when it will premiere or whether it will air in theaters via cable or streaming. Costner's long resume of westerns include Silverado, Dance with Wolves, Wyatt Earp, and Open Range, as well as 2012 miniseries Hatfields and McCoys. And he's been in the Yellowstone series since 2018. So, it sounds like a really, believe it or not, really kind of interesting story. Obviously, he'll probably be playing a role in it as well. Wouldn't surprise me, but he still does have clout, and I wouldn't be too shocked if he's able to maybe rouse Gene Hackman out of retirement to play like when he's like in his 90s, I think by now, but he could still potentially play a older sort of character as well. Might be able to even get Clint Eastwood to make an appearance in it as well. Get some of these older school stuff, Western type. Obviously, he'll probably go for a younger group, and maybe go after some of his Yellowstone co-stars to get them to come and help get Sam Elliott in there again to work with him as well. So it's intriguing to me because I have an interest in the westward expansion, and this sounds right up Costner's alley. And despite what we may think about him, it's probably going to be really good. Dances with Wolves was a really good movie, and the directing style was outstanding with the sweeping epic visuals and the music by John Barry. It's outstanding. So, it gets a lot of hate because of who Costner is, and yes, he's still an asshole, but it's still, you can't deny how good the movie actually is. And if he can, and Open Range is an underrated genius film as well, with Robert Duvall in that as well. So we'll see what happens with that, but we'll see. The hell is that? Oh, new Star Wars video game announced. So there'll be a new, hasn't been a Star Wars video game in a while. So a new one has been announced, and it'll be coming here really, really soon. Jason Momoa is interested in starring in a Minecraft movie, and everyone seems to think that it's a done deal. So we'll see Jason Momoa in a Minecraft movie. Would like to see how they're going to do that. It'll be animated in the style of Minecraft, and he'll be the voice of the main character, or they're going to do it like a live action sort of thing with him in a computer generated Minecraft sort of world, being a miner and dealing with zombies and all these other stuff as well. Could be really interesting if done properly. A professor, I'm sorry, no, we'll hold on that because I got a bunch of really weird stuff coming up at the end. Walter White and Jesse Plumpman from Breaking Bad, the actors, who played them, will be appearing in the final season of Better Call Saul, considering Saul was a minor character in their show. it would make sense to have them come back and Jesse Pinkman, have them come back and portray those same characters again. So it'd be good to see them reprising their roles again. Hell, the actor who played Jesse Pinkman, I forget his name right now, wanted the actor who played Walter White, whose name I also forget right now, to be the godfather to his son. So that's kind of cool. Taco Bell, after 18 months, is returning the Mexican pizza to their restaurant menu. People were screaming for it to come back, and now it will be back. Sunkist has released a mango orange soda. Mango flavored stuff is actually not too bad. And a combination with orange, a Sunkist orange flavor with a little bit of a mango twist to it might actually not be too bad. So I'll have to keep up and maybe look for that and try that out. It's got to be better than the Red Hot Mountain Dew. Marshawn Lynch, who was a big-time member of the Seattle Seahawks football team, has now become a part owner, I should say, of the Seattle Kraken NHL team. And he celebrated by driving the Zamboni across the ice rink. The Seattle Kraken, this is their first year, I think, playing in the NHL. So I guess he came in and liked where it was going and became part owner of it. And now he is going to be able to do it. So they've been playing for a while till he came on board. So that's pretty cool. Pop-Tarts are going to be bringing back their grape flavor Pop-Tart, which I kind of like. They haven't been around. It hasn't been around for years now, but they are bringing it back now, so that's pretty cool. Now, I just wish that my store would bring back the Boston cream pie Pop-Tarts because my son absolutely loves them, and I haven't seen them since. They just keep bringing out these Eggo ones, which are okay, the Eggo waffle Pop-Tarts, but I kind of wish they would re-release the Boston cream pie ones. Mike Judge and Greg Daniels, who did King of the Hill, and also worked on Office Space, I believe, together, are going to be making an Exploding Kittens Netflix animated show. Exploding Kittens is a wonderful game if you haven't played it yet, but they're going to turn it into an animated series. So, okay. Good idea on that. You love lobsters. Lobster season's coming up too. Well, now you can get lobster flip-flops. They're not real lobsters, obviously, but they're flip-flops that look like you're wearing two lobsters on your feet. And you can walk around, looking like you're wearing two lobsters on your feet. So that's a thing to come out now. Okay, now we've got Jake Arrieta, a former pitching prospect of the Baltimore Orioles, who didn't really amount to much when he was here in the Orioles. And the minute he was released to another team, they allowed him to go back to a pitch that the Orioles told him not to throw. And once he did that, he became a Cy Young winning pitcher, winning 20-plus games multiple times, becoming a Cy Young winner, which is the pitching MVP award, played in some World Series, pitched really well. He's going to be retiring. So that kind of pissed me off that we had this talent and our pitching staff was so stupid that if they would have just allowed him to do his stuff, he probably could have gotten the Orioles into more games than they were back in the mid-2000s. Here's the future for you. A hologram doctor visited the space station just to check on the astronauts. So literally it was a doctor on Earth who they beamed a hologram form up to the space station up there and he was able to interact with the people on the space station. That actually happened, and that's quite an accomplishment, I must say. So I've got 1, 2, 3 stupid stories to end this series, and perfectly timed. I should be done right before 3 o'clock here. First up, Kim Kardashian is threatening to sue Roblox, the game, the website that has multiple games created by people. My son has a game on there that he created, stuff like that, for over a fake sex tape game. Now, I don't understand that headline. Does it mean that they were joking and saying that they were going to have a sex tape video game, which is for a kid's website sort of thing, kind of a stupid thing to do? Or was that just a joke? And she's suing because they threatened that they were going to do a fake sex tape game, or did they actually say they were going to make a sex tape game based on the Kim Kardashian sex tape, which honestly is the only reason why she's famous now. And she's suing them for that. Either way, it's just odd that you're suing a kid's video game over something so minor that I doubt is actually even real. because it is a website made more for kids, and I doubt you would have a game that was a simulation of your sex act you did that made you famous. A professor wanted to blow up the moon to change the weather on Earth. It's not how it works, son. You think it might because, it controls the tides, stuff like that. If we had nothing to control the tides, the weather would be different. Yeah, it'd be worse, actually, to be honest. It would actually make things a whole hell of a lot worse. Plus, it would be no light at night, and that could screw up a whole bunch of things. There's a great book that I got from the Smithsonian, which answers all these scientific questions, and one of them was, what if we blew up the moon? Or what if the moon didn't exist, rather? What if the moon didn't exist? And it was, we'd still be able to survive, but it would really screw up a lot of stuff on this planet, and it would not help with the weather. So I'm sorry, son, you're just wrong. Finally, the last story. It's stupid Republican assholes again. I know I keep bringing this up, and it gets to the point where you think that I just hate Republicans, but when they're doing such terrible and awful things, it's pretty much okay to razz on them, because they live with hypocrisy. Their Lord and Savior is a con man, asshole, rapist. They love pedophiliacs, but they try to turn this around on everybody, and they want to keep you subservient. So these stupid, uneducated, poor people are the ones who, in the South particularly, who are fed this whole thing about racism and stuff like that, that these people are going to take over, stuff like that, and that, you need to do something like that, and giving them the power. They like those type of people, so they will, do stuff that they like, including banning abortions and suing Disney, which is a stupid thing. Don't even get me started on that. But the one big thing is that in Florida, which is absolutely a shit show right now, that governor asshole in Florida, DeSantis, I believe is who it is, he is banning 40% of math textbooks from schools because they're inappropriate. How the hell is math inappropriate? Makes no fucking sense. And when you dig a little deeper, you realize the reason why he's banning these textbooks is because he has a buddy who actually runs a textbook company that makes math textbooks. And you ban these other textbooks, everybody needs a math textbook, so they're going to go to his buddy, and his buddy is going to make a ton of money. That's the Republicans in a nutshell. Inappropriate math books. That's what I should name this episode instead. Don't get me even started on that. So I'm done here. Next week will be my mom's birthday. Not really sure what else is going on next week, so we'll see how things survive for the rest of this time. Have a pleasant Orthodox Easter. Have a pleasant weekend, rest of your weekend. Enjoy your week, and let's get the heck out of Dodge here. So let's see if I can get this timed again right here. So click on that and click on that.